Good morning. We've talked about all the projects that are happening in Michigan that will boost our economy. A state fund has helped make many of them happen.
Yeah, it's called the Strategic Outreach and Attraction Reserve Fund, or the SOAR Fund for short. MiBiz published an article about it last night. The fund hopes to secure large competitive projects like the major battery plants or the Coopersville wastewater pipeline.
We have Andy Blaskowitz on with us now to talk about all of this. First of all, good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
So how has this fund helped, and why does it even exist in the first place?
Yeah, so if you go back and remember roughly a year ago when we saw that announcement of Ford planning I think a $10–11 billion project down in Kentucky and Tennessee, really caught a lot of people's attention here, and lawmakers and the Whitmer administration faced some criticism about, kind of being a little flat-footed on this, and why isn't this happening in Michigan? So, that spurred them to really act lightning fast for Lansing standards, to create this, what started out as a $1 billion fund, to be able to give out grants and, basically grants to large projects. So fast forward a year now, lawmakers just added another about $850 million to the fund. We now have 4 projects, I believe, that have received hundreds of millions of dollars from it. And state officials maintain that these big projects wouldn't have happened if not for this economic development fund.
Now, Andy, I know you mentioned briefly here that there's been some criticism to this. How are some of the state officials responding to that criticism?
Sure. So, one of the main criticisms has been, the idea of giving hundreds of millions of dollars in grants to these really emerging technologies that have had kind of a checkered history in Michigan with electric vehicle batteries. But, state officials say and point out that these grants are performance-based, that companies sort of have to follow through on commitments in order to end up receiving the money down the line, and contracts as well with the state. There's some clawback provisions in there that state officials say will protect taxpayers essentially if these projects end up flopping.
And you can read online now in their article about what the plans are to make this a permanent fund and other impacts it could have. Andy, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.